welcome back to the channel, guys. I know this is a much needed video. Everybody's wanted to see this. Also, we got a new GoPro thanks to Devin. This is the new GoPro 11, so let me know what you guys think of the quality. Hopefully everything is good, because I definitely don't want to screw up this video for you guys. Like I said, welcome back to the channel. This is a video that's been wanted by everyone, and this is a big day for me. So what we have here, guys, is my 2016 STI Hyper Blue Edition, and this is the car that had began pretty much it all for us here at BBR. Now, a lot of you probably remember this car, and probably a lot of you know this car as the one that ran from the cops. And yes, indeed, this is the car, and that was a poor choice on my part, but you know, we're young and dumb, things in the past. This is that car. So you guys have seen this car in the background a lot, and to be honest, this car hasn't been together much since we did get our, what I say is real race car, VA bait in the back. You guys have seen that one in Texas, and the reason for that being, and I know I've touched on this before, so I'm gonna make it quick, is we got that car originally so we didn't have to cut this car up, because at the point of where this car was, it has gone an 896 at 161 mile an hour and a quarter mile. It held the chassis record for a couple years. That was about a couple of years ago, and this thing obviously was at its restrictions for safety equipment. It doesn't have a cage in it. Now obviously it doesn't have a parachute on it. If you want to take a look at the inside here, you know, it's a full interior street car, with the exception now of it doesn't have AC anymore with the choice I went, and it doesn't have power steering. We'll get into that in just a moment. So when we had done that, obviously we were frowned upon, and it was at the point where the car had to get safe, and it was either put a cage in the car and start to cut it up and make it a drag car, or the choice was to buy another car. And so that's what I chose to do. At the time, my tuner, Junior, had the 2015 STI. That is the previous holder of the chassis record. It went 908 at 161 when it was in his possession. We went ahead and bought that car, went through the whole car, rebuilt the cage, rebuilt the safety equipment on the car, have a safe car. So keep that in mind, guys. So in the background, like I said, we bought that car, and then this car and that one shared a lot of parts. And as time has gone on, I've been trying to build this car to have its own setup. Obviously, you guys know these things aren't cheap to build. 1,000 wheel in a Subaru is no joke. It definitely costs a lot of money in parts, and there's a lot of maintenance involved. Let's go ahead and go over the setup on this car. For those that are wondering, this has a test motor in it. We test a lot of parts on our own personal cars. This one is no exception. This motor is actually going to go into the race car, but I made the choice to put it in here and build another one. The reason why I put it in here is because this car I plan on driving more. Gives me a better example for the parts we're testing in the engine. So this is one of our BBR Stage X Longblocks. It's a standard 2.5 liter EJ257. And nothing much more I want to say about it, but it's one of our Stage X blocks that we rate for 1,000+ horsepower. Going on to that, we have obviously, you know, let's go over the accessories here. We have a process west intake manifold. We have IAG TGVs with their dual rail setup. We have two sets of ID 2600s on here. We have an Aeromotive mechanical pump that is placed on the engine by Kozmick Motorsports. This is their kit that they make for the Subaru chassis. In the front of the car, we have an ETS 5-inch intercooler. We have full 3-inch intercooler piping. Obviously, you guys see the big turbo over here. That is a Precision 7685 Next Gen, and this is a full Ranchbuilt turbo kit. You guys know that we use Ranchbuilt for all of our turbo kit needs. They custom built the kit on this car. It does utilize an ETS header, which I can't really show you. The ETS header has been modified, obviously, for the larger inlet of that 7685. That thing is a V-band in and out. The car has full exhaust. It's 3.5 is what I should say, down to the mid pipe. And then it has an AWE catback on the car. So that goes over the basics of the setup here. The car has everything to make 1,000+. The car only has about 20 or so miles on the engine. On the break-in map, you know, your boy gets a little bored. It made 730 Mustang on 32 pounds. So today, I wanted to show you guys this car. I've been hiding it in the background. Didn't really want to release it. And the reason being for that, guys, is it's nice just having something for yourself. You know, you show a car and you put it on social media. Obviously, there comes opinions. And I didn't want an opinion on it. I just wanted the car for myself to enjoy. I didn't want to post numbers. I just want to enjoy the car. That's all there is to it. You know, I wanted no drama, no BS. So that's why I haven't showed the car. But as you guys know, our business is driven by our social media. You guys want to see, and I love the fans that we do have. So at the end of the day, everybody's going to have an opinion, and that is what it is. Today we're going to get this thing on the dyno. Again, like I said, it only has about 20 miles on the engine. We're kind of pushing the limits here. It's a race engine, so regardless, this is how they're treated anyways. But this old girl here, the dynos put a lot of load. You know, you have a lot of load on a new motor, things got to break in. That's just the reality. So like I said, we're going to get this thing loaded on the dyno. I'm going to do some braking, more miles on this thing, maybe put another 10, 15 miles on it, just compression braking it, driving it, you know, getting the oil up to temp and so forth. Obviously I already have a map on the car. So from there, we're going to go ahead and turn this thing up. My goal for this car, guys, is to make 1,000 on our Mustang dyno. That's a ton of power, guys. That car over there, our race car, that car has a precision 8685, very similar setup, right? I can tell you on 55 pounds, I made 980 wheel on our Mustang dyno here. Then I moved that car from 55 pounds to 65, and it broke the drive shaft. And it was just straight up at 950 wheel. So a little bit nerve-wracking for the drivetrain in this car on old girl. It's really hard, guys. You know, in the end, we should be getting an idea where the car is and then turn it up the track, because I do plan on racing this car, obviously. Right now, it's just on some ET Street R's, drag radials for the street, and then it will go over to a slick setup for the track. And then, you know, obviously we'll get to a point where we're not able to race this anymore, and we'll just keep it as a drive it, cruise it car. So I'm going to let this thing warm up and hold on the dyno. We're going to turn it up. We're going to see how things go today. And one thing I did overlook, guys, drivetrain wise in this car, we have an 07 STI stock trans. We have an EXEDY triple disc. We have a stock drive shaft. We have DSS 1000 rear axles and DSS 800s in the front. So a little bit leery of that drive shaft. I know that one we had a problem. So we'll see. Let's get this thing loaded on the dyno, see where things go today. Still questioning if I'm going to post this or not. But if I do, you guys get to enjoy. 15 PSI base spring. We have a 4-port boost controller on this thing, so that means I can have a target of, well, I can hit 60 PSI, right? I can quadruple it. So I don't know if that's gonna be enough to hit 1,000 on the dyno. I think the car is gonna need 65 to 70 to hit 1,000 on this Mustang, but we'll go ahead and see what we can do. 44 pounds right there. I'm gonna review the log, look how everything looks. That's the first time I've revved it out this far to 80, it looks like 85 or 8600, and see if we need some fueling adjustments and make that decision from there, and then we'll go ahead and turn old girl up. All right, next one will be 55 pounds will be the next target. All right, boys, I went ahead and leaned it out. It's a little on the rich side. It's like 1120, 1130. So I went ahead and leaned it out. I moved the target up on that one. Looks like our wastegate duty, we didn't need as much today, so that's why it peaked and then it came down because the ECU was controlling it. So now I went ahead and moved our target to 50 pounds, but I left the wastegate duty where it was. Should be enough to get there. Let's go ahead and see what she makes. Maybe she'll do it. I know that number, that's an elusive number I've never hit on this dyno. 1,000 Mustang, boys. Man, I don't know if we'll do it today, but I'm gonna give it my all. All right, I bumped up our target, went ahead and cleaned up that boost graph. Let's go ahead and see what she can do. But I was working with the boost control to get it there and ramp it there, and you can see we came in here at 43 and then it saw 48 up at the top. Kept our graph climbing right there, 917, 662. So I went ahead and revised that again, added more wastegate duty, smoothed the ramp out. We're gonna see what it does on this one. Fingers crossed we can get further into those numbers. All right, guys, so on that one, we lost our reference line from the dyno to the car. So you can see here the boost dropped off. Still was able to make 952, 682. You can see it was climbing because obviously our boost is climbing. So I tried to raise it up here, flatten our boost curve out. that's what we did now. We'll see, just dialing in wastegate duty right now to see, hopefully we can flatten this boost curve out and get a little bit further. What do you think? Back part timing over there? Part timing. Should be 60 PSI on this one, boys. This is real man area, so let's see. We have it, boys. After that pull, went ahead, pulled up the graph here, and she did it. 1,008 and 715 foot-pounds of torque. You can tell we're having some issues right now with traction on there. That's where you see the dip right there. And you can see our nice boost curve now. This is 61 PSI, and that is party mode. Yeah, this thing is moving. You know, I have that torn spot of me that I really want to make the 1,000 on the lower number, but at the end of the day, we're already at 61 PSI. I think it's going to take probably close to another 10 PSI to do that. And you know, it's at that point, do we do it or do we not? You know, do we save it? Do we use it for track? The car still does have a full catback on it too. So I'm almost where if I unbolted the catback, I'm sure we could pick up 50 wheel on this thing. And it'd probably get us there in the same boost, to be honest. But I'm sure we're at a point where we're really starting to begin to max out that catback on this thing. So I'm at that crossroad right now. I'm trying to decide, do I undo the catback and try to do a pull? Maybe raise our target from 61, get it up to 65. My target there was 60, so we just overshot by a little bit. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to decide right now. If not, we're going to end out here. At the end of the day, it made 1,008, 715. This is Mustang numbers, guys. There's no bullshit. I wanted to post this car only if it made 1,000 Mustang, and it did. You know, and obviously we know that it makes that power. A 7685 at 61 PSI. I mean, you guys can probably do the math of, you know, what that would end up making and what it will do. I can tell you personally that this car before, on a less of a fuel system and a less of a motor, an older generation of the 7685 there, which is what is on the wall there, the car went 896 at 161 on 53 PSI boost. So that gives you an idea of where we are. We're in party mode right now. This is definitely turned up. I'd almost like to save it just for the track and just be happy with that right now. And that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. But like I said, the crossroad, my inner me, I wanted to send it another pull just to get that way the lowest number on here to 965 there was 1,000. So that way there's no bullshit, no one bitching about it, nothing. But at the end of the day, what, that's 35 horsepower. I don't think it's worth it. I think I'm just gonna leave it there, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm happy with the car, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. It's like I told you guys at the beginning of this video, there's gonna be opinions no matter what. Everyone's gonna have their opinion on your build. At the end of the day, if you're happy, guys, that's all that matters, and I am happy. This is the car that means everything to me. And like I said, this is the car that started it for us. Building this car again really did mean a lot, and putting it back together and seeing it perform right now, I couldn't be happier with this thing. I really love the turbo kit that we made on this thing. You really don't see too many, really any of them. I know this car used to have a rotated 42R. That is a 42R size turbo, and it is so nice looking in here, right? Probably the quirks of it, for a street car, it would have been nice to retain power steering, and obviously AC would be nice, but at the end of the day, should I really be driving this when I need AC, when it's that hot out? The answer is no. And so that doesn't really matter. Power steering would have been nice, that we lose with the mechanical pump there, but that's so be it. There's a lot of nice little things, guys, on this thing that you'd have to keep looking at it to see. The ABS on the car is relocated. You can see the lines run up there. There's a nice built panel here. Obviously this used to have a headlight mount turbo kit, so that turbo used to be over here. So that's already been trimmed, so they created a nice bolt-in panel there. It does have a full operational fender liner on the car now, so if I did want to drive it in the rain, I could. But obviously I don't want to. I have other cars to do that. But like I said, it just fits so nice. This thing is so easy to work on. It has full exhaust. It's just all around a nice car, guys. And like I said, there's a bunch of little things on it that you may notice. It has a Forester radiator in it. We used to always have issues with this radiator hose being over here and touching that pump and end up going through the hose. And you know why it did that, I'm not sure. This is a one-off piece that Kozmick makes. They said they didn't have that problem, but for some reason I always did, no matter the hose that I've used. So we went ahead and put the Forester radiator here, the Forester crossover there, and now obviously that's no longer an issue. It's really nice. There's a lot of custom pieces on the car that are built. I'm really happy of how this thing turned out, guys, and don't mind me. I just spent all morning cleaning what's left of my white Force. I'm trying not to step on it. But in the end, guys, I am super happy. I do want to race this car. We are supposed to have a track this year. I bet you guys can kind of put two and two together. This car at this power level, it's bound to probably not be allowed for too long to race at the track again. So I'll probably dial the car in before we send it down, like a full pass, you know, work on the short track. My goal for the car is to go faster than what it did before. And then some of you have been asking about Old Girl over here. So obviously it's still here, guys. It's been here since Texas. You can see this thing is covered with a thick layer of dust. Haven't touched it since Texas. There is no motor in it. There is no trans in it. We sold the dog box to Chester. The car is just a bare rolling shell at this point. I do have intentions of putting this car back together. And for those of you, obviously safety is a big concern. You know, obviously a car of that power, not having the safety equipment, I get it, guys. I hear your concern. The end, it's my car, my choice. If something were to happen, just know I was smiling while it was happening. This car, I do plan on bringing. I plan on working on this car again, putting it back together, and I do plan on racing this next year. My goal is to have its own setup and its own setup. And these two cars are pretty close to that right now. This has its whole turbo kit ready to go. Obviously, like I said, we sold the trans out of the car, so we are gonna have to replace it with another trans. And we're gonna have to build a new motor because like I told you guys, we ended up putting it into that car instead. So I can definitely start piecing together at the end. This car is done. The hatch is done. The black EM1, that's all-wheel drive. That thing, I'm just literally waiting on a short block. Everything's done for that. The Forester's done, and obviously until the stock motor goes to the moon. So now the only thing left is this thing. I can't say I've ever had that many projects at once or ever had them all running at once. So again, I will be focusing on this to put this back together so that way we can have the safety equipment and push further. You know, at the end, this is just my personal toy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and me rambling on. Definitely, hopefully this footage is pretty good. This is a brand new camera, so I have no clue how it's gonna turn out. Again, I appreciate all you guys for taking your time and watching. Let me know what you think down below of Hyper Blue or you were familiar with the car, what was your favorite memory of this car, of what we've done? This has obviously been a huge trademark for us and our business. I tuned this car back the last time it ran, actually. I went 9.6 at 144, I believe, on this, on a like 1 hour tune, and that's right when I first started tuning. So it's definitely been a lot of life changes and progression and goals have been this car. It's, like I said, #1. So like I said, drop down what you guys think. I appreciate you guys all watching. That is gonna wrap up today's video. When I post this, I'm not too sure, but we'll find out. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.
Living life up in the fast lane. Hey. Living life up in the fast lane. And I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down. Living life up in the fast lane. Pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground. Living life up in the fast lane. Life, though you limits, you just put them in Coronas, Coronas, Coronas. I've been working, I need that advance with the bonus, the bonus, the bonus. Ain't no thoughts about tomorrow, I'm just living in the moment, the moment, the moment. Full tank of gas and 200 on the dash, bitch, I'm zoning, I'm zoning, I'm zoning. Fast lane, living life up in the fast lane. Hey. Living life up in the fast lane. And I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down. Living life up in the fast lane.